Gang, so the past couple days you've been graphing linear functions and finding the equation of a linear graph. Today I'm going to show you that you can find the equation of a linear graph without actually seeing the graph, just by looking at the 2 points that are given. So you can find the equation of a line that passes through 2 points without graphing it. First, place the given coordinates in a t-table. Second, find the slope by calculating the change in y over the change in x. Third, find the y-intercept by substituting the slope and one of the given coordinates into y equals mx plus b and solve for b. And fourth, rewrite the function rule with the values found in step 2 and 3. So let's see what we got. All right, here's our first example. So we have the points 0, -8, and 5, 2. Okay, so I'm going to set up my table of values and put in those 2 points. We have x and y. 0 is an x, -8 is the y, 5 is the x, 2 is the corresponding y. And I find my slope. -8 to 2 is going up 10. 0 to 5 is going up 5. So the change in y over the change in x is 10 divided by 5, which equals 2. So I can substitute that into my equation, y equals 2x, and then I can plug in the 0 and -8. But wait a second, 0, -8 would be on the y-axis. If I graph the point 0, -8, I would just go down to -8 and stay on the y-axis. So that means my y-intercept is already given. It's just -8. So I have my equation. Let's take a look at number 2. Again, I start by setting up my t-chart. For t, -10 corresponds to 3, and for h, 0 corresponds with -2. So again, I start by calculating my slope. 3 to -2 is going down 5. -10 to 0 is going up 10. So my change in y over change in x is -5 over 10, which is equal to -1/2. So we start our equation, y equals -1/2 x, and once again, 0, -2 is the y-intercept, so it's -1/2 x minus 2. Done. Okay, so you're going to try 3 through 6 the same way I did 1 and 2. You can pause the video here, check in with me before moving on to the next set of questions. All right, so now we have some more examples. These ones are a little bit more challenging because the y-intercept is not given, so we're going to have to do some more work. Again, we start by setting up our table. -5, 2, and 3, 18. 2 to 18 is increasing by 16. -5 to 3 is increasing by 8, making our slope, change in y over change in x, 16 over 8, which is equivalent to 2. So we write our equation, y equals 2x plus b. So now I'm going to take one of the 2 coordinates and plug them in. I'd rather work with 318 so I don't have to deal with that -5. So the 18 goes in for y, and the 3 goes in for x. So I get 18 equals 6 plus b. Subtract 6 from both sides, and b equals 12. Plug that back into the equation, getting y equals 2x plus 12. And now if I'm not 100% sure that I'm right, I could check it. If I do 2 times -5, I get -10. If I add 12, I get 2. So I did it correctly. Again, if I do 2 times 3, I get 6, and 6 plus 12 is 18. So I know that I did it the right way. All right, number 8. Again, we set up our t-chart. C is -4, 6, and D is 2, -12. 6 to -12 is decreasing by 18, and -4 to 2 is increasing by 6, making my slope -18 over 6, or -3. Start my equation, y equals -3x plus b, and substitute in one of those 2 points. Now, in either case, I'm not going to be able to avoid a negative, so I'm going to use the top one. 6 goes in for y, and -4 goes in for x. So I get 6 equals 12 plus b. Subtract 12 from both sides, and negative 6 equals b, making my equation y equals negative 3x minus 6. And again, I can check my work. If I plug in the 2, I get negative 3 times 2 is negative 6, and negative 6 minus 6 is indeed negative 12. I could check it with the negative 4 as well. Negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12, minus 6 is 6. So I know we did it right and we have the right function rule. Okay, let's take a look at number 9. Again, we set up our table. D is negative 2, negative 4, and E is 4, 5. Negative 4 to 5 is increasing by 9. Negative 2 to 4 is increasing by 6. So that makes my slope, change in y over change in x, 9 over 6, which simplifies to 3 halves. So we start my equation, y equals 3 halves x plus b, and substitute in one of the points. I'm going to avoid the negatives and use 4, 5. So 5 equals 3 halves of 4 plus b. So 5 equals 4 divided by 2 is 2 times 3 is 6 plus b. Subtract 6 from both sides, and we get that b equals negative 1. So that makes our equation y equals 3 halves x minus 1. And I can check it. If I do 3 halves of negative 2, I get negative 2 divided by 2, which is negative 1, times 3 is negative 3, and negative 3 minus 1 is negative 4, proving again that we have the right function rule. All right, one last one with me. For number 10, set up our table. Our first coordinate, F, is negative 9, 8. Second, G, is 3, negative 8. 8 to negative 8 is going down 16. Negative 9 to 3 is going up 12, making my slope negative 16 twelfths. Now, 16 and 12 are both divisible by 4, so that's going to be negative 4 thirds. So we get y equals negative 4 thirds x plus b. Substitute in one of the two coordinates. I can't avoid the negative, so I'm going to go with negative 9, 8. So 8 equals negative 4 thirds of negative 9 plus b. So 8 equals negative 9 divided by 3 is negative 3. Negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12 plus b. Subtract the 12, and b equals negative 4, making my final answer for my equation y equals negative 4 thirds x minus 4. Now, since I use that negative 9, 8, I'm going to check with 3, negative 8. If I do negative 4 thirds of 3, I get negative 4. Negative 4 minus 4 is negative 8. We did it correctly. So hopefully you understand how I'm coming up with all of this. You're going to try 2 more on your own. Please make sure you check in with me to be sure you have the right answers before moving on to your exit ticket or homework.